A dependable face on movie screens for decades, he always brought solid professionalism to every role he tackled. He started in the film that many have called the greatest of all time and went on to create interesting, low-key characters in scores of other movies. As a sensitive leading man or a cold-blooded killer, he gave his all to every role, every time. While the quality of the films might have varied, his performances never did. He is the one and only Joseph Cotten. He was born Joseph Cheshire Cotten on May 15, 1905, in Petersburg, Virginia. Interested in the performing arts, he worked as a drama critic before joining Orson Welles' Mercury Theater. After success in radio and on stage, Welles went west to make his Hollywood debut, taking Cotten along with him. The resulting film is considered by many to be the greatest of all time. Citizen Kane tells the story of Charles Foster Kane, a rich man who lives an unhappy life. Welles himself took the title role, which was based on real-life newspaper tycoon William Randolph Hearst. But in this unique trailer, Orson didn't show clips. Instead, he introduced his Mercury players.
Now, smile for the folks, Joe. Smile. Joseph Cotten, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Joseph Cotten. I think you're going to see a lot of him. Here's Ruth Warwick, whom I know you love. Ruth. And here's one of the best actors in the world, Agnes Moorehead. I've said a lot of nice things, but Erskine Sanford deserves some more. Erskine Sanford.
Charles Foster Kane is...
Hearst didn't like Welles' thinly veiled portrait of him, and his powerful influence hurt the film at the box office.
Would have the Panama Canal.
I'm going to marry him next week at the White House.
Emily, I hear you've been...
For Cotten, though, his performance as Kane's pal Jed Leland earned him status as a sensitive leading man.
$1 million? Well, of course I love him. He's the richest man in America.
But all the girls say about him at first.
But you know, I can't help but admire him.
Still, he didn't want to be typecast, and the actor worked hard to appear in a range of roles. He used his natural likability to good effect in Alfred Hitchcock's chilling Shadow of a Doubt. Cast against type as the murderer of wealthy widows, Cotten gave one of his finest performances here.
I don't want you to touch my mother. So go away, I'm warning you. Go away or I'll kill you myself.
Teresa Wright also starred as the killer's trusting niece, along with MacDonald Carey and, in his film debut, Hume Cronyn. His versatility established, Cotten returned to good guy roles in 1944's thrilling Gaslight.
It was written 2 days before she was murdered.
Ingrid Bergman gave an Oscar-winning performance as the Victorian-era wife, being driven crazy by husband Charles Boyer. Only stalwart police detective Joseph can save the day.
You're not going out of your mind. You're slowly and systematically being driven out of your mind.
But why? Why?
This MGM film also won an Oscar for its moody black and white art direction. Cotten was a big hit with wartime audiences as well, starring alongside Ginger Rogers in I'll Be Seeing You. The melodramatic plot about the romance between a female convict and a shell-shocked soldier worked thanks to excellent performances by the stars.
You're just fishing. You want me to ask you to stay?
I'll ask.
Please stay.
Shirley Temple, beginning her move into adult roles, also appeared as Ginger's sister.
Well, for your information, this neckline's a morale builder.
Well, and there's something in my past. I don't know what it is, but it's something horrible. Now, if I remember someday it might hurt you, and I couldn't bear to hurt you.
1945's Love Letters had Cotten in a romantic mood again, falling for amnesiac Jennifer Jones.
No one dared tell him the truth.
Anybody think a murder had been committed?
Yes, there has. An old murder. It's all over and forgotten now, but a murder remains a murder and goes on affecting people.
Acclaimed author Anne Rand wrote the screenplay, which was adapted from Chris Massey's best-selling novel.
The girl he loved in spite of every warning.
Do you think it would matter to you or to me if you did remember the past?
Jones received an Oscar nomination for her work, while the reliable Cotten gained rave reviews. Producer David O. Selznick's Duel in the Sun was an attempt to repeat the success of Gone with the Wind out west.
I aim to defend Spanish Pit with lead. Now, if there's any yellow bellies among you, get out now.
This steamy western, bursting with sexual energy, presented Gregory Peck and Joseph as brothers, battling each other for half-breed Jennifer Jones.
Gregory Peck.
Jones, Selznick's wife, was miscast in the role of a fiery temptress, but she received an Oscar nomination for Best Actress anyway.
I might as well say it. I loved you. Somehow you touched me.
You love me?
The movie was dubbed Lust in the Dust by its detractors, with Cotten providing the lone figure of on-screen decency. The film went over budget, and director King Vidor quit with 2 days of shooting left, but the sexy picture still made plenty of money at the box office. Continuing to stretch his talents, Cotten tried comedy with Loretta Young in 1947's The Farmer's Daughter.
So wait and see what's ahead for them when Katie goes to town.
The actress starred in the title role as a simple Swedish cleaning woman who runs for Congress.
I preserve meat, candle eggs, dill pickles, smoke ham and bacon. I wait on table 40 hands at harvest time. And I make glug.
You do?
You want to know what I do outside?
I don't know about my mother, but I'd be fascinated.
Joseph provided able support as the man who helps Young politically, while falling in love with her too. The film was a hit with moviegoers, and Loretta took home the Academy Award for her warm performance.
However, tonight I dressed for the stage just in case.
Cotten was an actor who never received prizes for his performances, but that changed with 1948's Portrait of Jenny. This otherworldly romantic drama cast Joseph as an artist who finds himself in love with a girl who might be a ghost. Jennifer Jones, though too old for the part, was his co-star yet again, but some lovely romance outweighed the miscasting. For his sensitive work, Joseph received his first and only major film award as Best Actor at the Venice Film Festival. From there, Cotten's career went downhill with the notorious 1949 bomb Beyond the Forest. Betty Davis overacted like mad in this seedy story about a scheming woman and her effect on a number of men. Cotten was her doctor husband, with David Bryan and Ruth Roman also starring.
Don't you want to?
King Vidor stood behind the camera, but the director was as unhappy here as he was on Duel in the Sun. Betty was so angry about being cast in the role that she threatened to walk out with filming only half finished. She did complete the movie, But Beyond the Forest's failure ended her run as Warner Brothers' favorite leading lady. Cotten, who received little blame for the flop, continued to find himself in demand. Under Capricorn was a reunion with Alfred Hitchcock, but the picture was one of the director's few duds. Despite the novelty of a 19th century Australia setting, the story about family secrets between Cotten and wife Ingrid Bergman was dull.
So, what a shock you gave me. Sir Richard, may I present my husband? We were talking about horses. I was telling His Excellency
that I was brought up in a stable. I heard you. Well, my money's as good as the next man's. The compliments of Mr. Sampson Plusky, Esquire. It'll pay for my wife's supper.
Michael Wilding and Margaret Leighton were among the fine supporting cast, but the script gave them little to do.
You bloody murdering jet!
A reunion with Orson Welles would rescue Cotten from the string of disappointments and give him the best starring role of his career. Carol Reed's The Third Man was an unforgettable thriller set in post-war Vienna. With a story from Graham Greene, the film cast Cotten as a writer of pulp westerns who gets called overseas by an old friend named Harry Lime.
His name?
Lime, Harry Lime.
Okay.
But the truth about Harry leads the writer into a web of mystery and intrigue.
3 men helped to carry your friend to the statue.
Kurtz?
Yes.
The Romanian?
Yes.
And
Say about the third man.
Cotten's performance was outstanding, and the film remains one of his greatest triumphs.
Harry.
Beautifully photographed on location, the story's tension and humor were perfectly balanced.
Well, what the fella said. In Italy, for 30 years under the Borgias, they had warfare, terror, murder, and bloodshed, but they produced Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and the Renaissance. In Switzerland, they had brotherly love. They had 500 years of democracy and peace, and what did that produce? The cuckoo clock. So long, Holly.
In 1953, the actor had a big Technicolor success as the jealous husband of sex symbol Marilyn Monroe in Niagara. Stylish and suspenseful, this drama found plenty of fans at the box office.
I hate to move when we have a fight. Never want to leave your side.
Get me some orange juice, Georgie.
Smell like a dime store. I know what that means.
Sure. I'm meeting somebody. Just anybody handy, as long as he's a man.
Though he played a man with murderous impulses, the audience couldn't help but root for Cotten. In 1958, Joseph did a cameo for his old friend Orson Welles in the film noir masterpiece Touch of Evil. And then continued his leading man ways in the Civil War set science fiction adventure From Earth to the Moon. Based on Jules Verne's novel, the movie combined a great cast with a dull script. The results were less than exciting, with scientist Joseph taking a trip to the stars.
how does it feel, gentlemen, to behold a sight no human eyes have ever seen before?
George Sanders, Deborah Paget, and Don Dubbins were also on board for the ride.
Out of the crucible of conflict and violence flames the daring love story of a scarlet woman.
In 1960, The Angel Wore Red gave Cotten a good supporting role in a drama set during the Spanish Civil War. Ava Gardner and Dirk Bogarde starred as an attractive pair of wartime lovers willing to die for the cause.
No, but you do. Is this the way you wage war now? Hanging beautiful women?
Nunnally Johnson wrote and directed this moving film, which was shot on location in Italy.
Sure, I'm working. What do you want me to do, invent a war for you?
Hawthorne's assignment led him into the tangled byways of international intrigue.
Would you be willing to discuss your position with a member of the government?
If you can't tell me whom you represent, then there's nothing more we have to say to each other.
Hush, hush, sweet Charlotte.
Robert Aldrich's follow-up to Whatever Happened to Baby Jane was a similar fright fest starring Bette Davis and Olivia de Havilland. In Hush, Hush, Sweet Charlotte, the women played cousins with skeletons in their family closet.
Till I die.
Damn you. Now will you shut your mouth?
Joseph was distinguished as Olivia's boyfriend, a doctor who may be up to no good.
I'm gonna tell her what you've been up to. What's going on up there that you don't want me to see?
This shocking drama gave audiences plenty of scares and even picked up 7 Oscar nominations.
Five people, each with a hunger of his own, reaching out for a fabulous fortune that was bait for the money trap.
1966's The Money Trap had a great cast caught in a dangerous plot by writer-director Burt Kennedy. Glenn Ford and Ricardo Montalban were cops investigating a shooting, with shady physician Cotten involved.
You married me. You didn't buy me.
Elkie Summer and Rita Hayworth also appeared as a pair of deadly females in this juicy slice of 1960s film noir.
Get out of my way! Let him go. He's dead. He just doesn't know it yet.
Cotten continued to be in demand as the decade ended, though the quality of his films was uneven.
Forces of nature erupt.
He took the lead in Latitude Zero, a silly Japanese sci-fi adventure with Cotten as the hero, trying to stop evil Cesar Romero's plans to conquer the world.
Latitude Zero.
The imported stars had their hands full, battling creatures equipped with the cheapest special effects 1969 had to offer. Throughout the 1970s, Joseph continued to alternate small parts in mainstream Hollywood fare with bigger roles in genre pictures.
Latitude Zero.
Cotten appeared briefly as the Secretary of War in Tora, 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 a war epic with Oscar-winning special effects helping recreate the bombing of Pearl Harbor. The Japanese-American co-production had a dedicated crew working hard to make sure every detail was perfect.
The most spectacular film ever made.
Tora, Tora, Tora! What lovely music for a murder.
Cotten scored a big box office success opposite old friend and fellow Mercury Theater actor Vincent Price in the campy horror film Dr. Fives. Price took the title role as the disfigured doc seeking revenge on those he blamed for his wife's death.
9 killed you. 9 shall die.
Surgeon Joseph is at the top of the list.
But you I will kill. But you can't, Doctor. I am already dead. Are you ready for Dr. Five? Behind the dank walls, a nightmare world of horror and butchery awaits.
1972's Barren Blood was a bit better, a sexy horror film by the stylish Italian director Mario Bava.
Beware of Barren Blood. He returns to avenge a witch's...
Cotten was the menacing title character, with Elkie Summer as his lovely co-star.
The Baron's will not only dominated this castle, but all the valley below. The people were necessary only for his convenience.
Starring Joseph Cotten and Elkie Summer. Beware of Barren Blood.
In the year 2022, nothing runs anymore, nothing works.
Soylent Green was a science fiction mystery set in a hopelessly overcrowded future.
This is the police.
What they need most is Soylent Green.
The supply of Soylent Green has been exhausted.
Charlton Heston starred as the cop trying to solve the murder of wealthy Cotten.
Simonson. He was the first to learn the secret of Soylent Green.
They told me to say that they were sorry, but that you had become unreliable.
The secret behind the title foodstuff turns out to be the real mystery, with the answer coming as a shocking surprise.
Gotta stop him! Somehow!
What is the secret of Soylent Green?
Please!
Of $1 billion.
In 1974, Cotten reunited with an old friend, making a guest appearance in Orson Welles' F for Fake.
F for fake.
Good. Lord has instructed me to lead you to this land.
After turning 70, the actor continued on screen in features like Guyana, Cult of the Damned.
Never be destroyed.
Though the exploitation of the real-life Jim Jones tragedy was evident, a fine cast of older actors at least found work in this low-budget potboiler.
And those who oppose me oppose God.
Stuart Whitman starred as Jones, with Gene Barry, John Ireland, and Yvonne DiCarlo also on hand. Cotten, as usual, rose above the material and gave a fine performance.
Who cares if 7 or 70 want to leave? Can't change what you've accomplished here. There's no doubt in my mind that it's better to choose to die than to be harassed from one continent to another. Congressman O'Brien's plane will fall from the sky.
Guyana, Cult of the Damned.
After starting the 1980s in films like Heaven's Gate, the actor suffered a stroke which caused his retirement from performing. Joseph Cotten died on February 6, 1994 in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 88. While never a star of the highest rank, he was a dependable actor who always gave a good performance. After making his screen debut in one of the most influential films of all time, he went on to excel in both leading man and character parts. With his melodious voice, all-American good looks, and hard-working manner, his presence on movie screens continually proved a welcome sight. Hollywood will always remember Joseph Cotten.